Hello, my friends. What is up? We are live. Welcome to the second session, group writing session for NaNoWriMo 2023. I'm so glad you're here joining me today. First things first, tell me in the chat if you can see me and hear me okay. I have to make sure that my equipment is working, and then we're going to get ready to rock and roll in our manuscripts today. So type in the chat, let me know, and tell me where you're tuning in from. I would love to hear where you're from and what you are writing today. So a lot of you guys are participating in NaNoWriMo, which is National Novel Writing Month, if you're new around here. And some of you are just working on projects that you've been working on for a while. So wherever you are in your writing journey, I am so happy that you have come to this live stream today, and I'm really excited to write with you. Okay, everyone can see me. Awesome. Fantastic. I see writers tuning in from all over the world. So cool. Germany. Let's see. Mexico, Virginia, California, Mexico City, Oklahoma, England, Texas, Connecticut. Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad you're here. So the way that these live streams work, if this is your first time joining a live stream, welcome, is we're going to do 4 writing sprints total. So 25 minutes of writing and then a 5-minute break in between each sprint to chat about our stories. I'm going to pick some questions that come up in the chat and answer those, and then we'll get back into our next sprint. So I will set a timer here so that you can see a countdown clock. I will also set up a timer to ring when the time is up. And if you are in the Discord community, you can also join the sprints over there. So I'm going to be running sprints in the Discord. And if you enjoy doing these community group writing sessions together, you would definitely love being in the Discord. So the Discord is available to anyone who joins my Patreon. It's available at any tier level, and the link to that is below in the description if you want to check it out. We do writing sprints in there all the time, and it's also just a great way to support what I do here on YouTube. So consider doing that. If you enjoy these writing sprints and you want more of them in your life. Okay, is everyone ready to write today? I'm super excited to get into my project. So type in the chat, tell me if you haven't written already, tell me what you're working on for NaNoWriMo, or just what you're working on today. So maybe you're writing something new, maybe you're editing, maybe revising. I've been doing some rewriting and revising on my latest project. But that's actually not what I'm working on today. What I'm going to be working on today is a nonfiction book, the long-awaited nonfiction. I've been teasing a little bit about it on Instagram, and I know you guys are really excited to see it. I've been waiting a long time for it. So yes, I'm very excited to put this book together at last and share it with you guys. So working on that today and hoping to make some significant progress with these sprints. Awesome. Looks like you guys are working on so many cool projects. Oh, so neat. Outlining. I see some people editing. Writing a first draft for Nano. Cool. Fantasy adventure, urban fantasy, novel series. Someone's writing the inciting incident. That's always really fun. Okay, so let's get set up here. I'm going to start a sprint in the Discord, unless there's a sprint already going. Okay, let's start a sprint here for 25 minutes. I'm going to join over there, but I'm not sure how much actual writing I'm going to do because I'm still sorting some ideas. So we'll see. I think it's going to be sort of a rewriting process, but I'll join with 0 words anyway. So if you're in Discord, feel free to hop over there as well, or just stay here and hang out in the live stream chat. Okay, I'm going to set up my timer. And let's get into our writing session together. And so in 25 minutes, we're going to take a quick break, and I will answer some questions that come up in the chat. Okay, hopefully you have everything you need, something yummy to sip on, your work in progress, and hopefully some peace and quiet. Good luck, guys. Boom. Writing sprint 1 is done. Great job, guys. Type in the chat. Tell me how it went. Hopefully you had a productive first sprint of the day. Mine was super productive. I got through several pages of this rewrite. I think like 3 or 4 pages. I'm putting a lot of spaces in, so I don't know if it really counts as 4 pages, but it was a good sprint. Okay, looks like you guys had a good one. Awesome. Fantastic. You guys are doing great. So we're going to take a quick break here, 5-minute break. I'll answer a few questions, and then we'll get into our next sprint. Looks like you guys are making awesome progress on your stories. Fantastic job. Awesome. So I'm actually working on, I think I don't know what chapter it is. I think it's chapter 3, actually, because I need to still go back and write the introduction. But I don't know, something about writing the introduction just feels like a more daunting task. So I just dove right into chapter 2, I guess, which seems to be flowing better now. So, okay, let's see. Eve Farrell asks, this is a question for you. Who was your favorite character to write in The Otherworld and why? I'd really like to hear your thoughts on this question. So if you guys don't know, The Otherworld is my newest novel, which you can start reading with the links below this live stream. My favorite character to write in that book, it's so hard to choose because I love them all so much. But I would have to say probably my favorite character was Orca, because she really became like I think she is my favorite female protagonist that I've ever written. I just really love her character. She was a fun character to explore because I really got to like challenge myself with figuring out how would this character see the world that most people live in, having grown up completely removed from that. So it was a really fun challenge to like see the world through her eyes and see how some of the things that are really normal to us in the everyday modern world were very foreign to her because she's never experienced those things. So it kind of like opened my eyes to new things, and it was also just really fun to write her character and her voice. She's an old soul. Okay, let's see. Iris Knight asks, how do you do world building? I'm in the writing process and it is the most difficult thing to do. World building is super difficult. I would first point you to the podcast that me and my sister did on this topic. If you go to YouTube, type in the Kate and Abby Show, world building, it should pop right up. We talk a lot about world building in that episode and kind of break it down and simplify it. But I would say that would be the first thing to do, is simplify it. Don't overwhelm yourself with too much information to figure out at the beginning. And as far as revealing that information to the reader, I would say that you don't need to info dump. You don't need to expose all the information at the beginning. You don't need a lot of exposition. I prefer to read and write exposition through action. So whenever something in the world is directly impacting and mattering to the main character, that's when you want to reveal that thing. Because that puts you so much more deeply into the character's point of view than just being told, okay, here's this, huge broad view of the world, and then we have to locate all of these things in our mind, like file away all these names and all these specifics. And this is something that has made me just DNF books really early on. If it has tons of world building at the beginning with lots of names and places and groups and organizations and things that I'm already disoriented going into the first chapter, I cannot remember all this stuff. So I would say keep it simple. Keep it as small scale as possible. You can write as many notes to yourself as you want, but I would say keep it really simple at the beginning and deep point of view. But definitely check out that podcast. Okay, I answered one more question. I know I'm going over my 5 minutes, but hopefully that helps. Leah asks, how do you think is the best way to build character relationships? I want to do kind of an enemies to lovers dynamic, but it's hard. Yes, it is definitely a very complex relationship to build, but it's so much fun. So I definitely recommend it. I did a whole live training on enemies to lovers, and I have a video that's kind of attached to that live training that you can find on my channel. But my live training is available on my Patreon if you want to check it out. It's in the link below this video. But in that live training, I give out basically a story structure template for enemies to lovers, and the relationship arc is really all about finding that pacing. So you're not immediately going from enemies to lovers. You're making it feel realistic because they have trust building moments with each other. They have moments of vulnerability where they have to maybe get through a situation together, maybe rely upon each other for help in the moment of crisis. And there has to be some sort of midpoint friendship because, like you're saying, you want it to feel like a natural progression, a natural character arc for both these characters. And as they change the way they feel about each other, there has to be some moment, usually during the midpoint, where they are reconciled to each other. They're getting along. They have this strange but solid friendship that they didn't have before. And that is a really important stepping stone to the next stage where they're starting to have feelings for each other romantically. But definitely check out that video and that live training. It's very detailed. Okay, let's get into our second writing sprint. I'm going to reset my clock. I actually forgot to even do anything in the Discord. I forgot to add my word count in the Discord, but I didn't really have a word count this time because I was kind of rewriting. But we will enter word count this time. So let's see, where am I? I have 2,600 words in this chapter. It's like a perfect writing day here. It's so rainy and gloomy, but it's very nice ambience for writing too. Okay, so join on the Discord if you want. Otherwise, we are going to stay here and jump to the next sprint. All right, let's go. Sprint number 2 is finished. Great job, guys. Hopefully you had a productive sprint. Got some more words written. I got some words written. I actually decided to, I pretty much finished that chapter. Now I'm bouncing back to the introduction. I have like 2 possible introductions, so I'm trying to find a way to weave them both together in a coherent way. So that's where I'm at right now. I don't actually have a word count to share because I was all over the place. So yeah, making progress though. That's the important thing. All progress is good progress. That's one thing to remember when you are doing NaNoWriMo, especially if you feel like you haven't hit your word count goal and we're halfway through the month and you're behind and you need to catch up. If you're feeling any sort of stress over that, over word count, remind yourself that all progress is good progress. Every time you show up for yourself and you write, you are making progress towards your dreams. And that is the most important thing. There are no bad writing days because all progress is good progress. All practice is progress. So it looks like you guys made some great progress. There's lots of words being written. So cool. We're going to do 2 more sprints throughout this stream. So first, kind of take a quick break here, answer some questions, and then we'll do 2 more writing sprints. So that'll bring us basically to 2 hours. Okay, let's see. Questions. And I missed a couple questions last time, so I want to catch a few more of those this time. Let's see. Gordon Barnes asks, thoughts on having 2 disasters? I have a disaster plan where just when my main character doesn't think it can possibly get worse, it does. So due to his misbelief, he's sort of punching himself twice. You can definitely have 2 disasters. I've written stories where I can't like decide on what disaster I want to have happen, so I just do them both. And sometimes it works. It works really well because you're actually just upping the stakes even more. And you're bringing your character to a more conflicted place. So I would say that anything that pushes your character even more outside their comfort zone and forces them to confront their beliefs even more, that is a good thing. That's a good idea for sure. So I would say, yeah, just go with all the disasters you possibly can. Let's see. Yeah, everyone's talking about the keyboard. I know this keyboard is so lovely. I absolutely love this keyboard. And the link to it, by the way, is in the description box below this live stream if you want to check it out. It's an ASIO keyboard, and I had been looking at it for a long time before I finally decided to just buy it. And it is so comfy too. Like the palm rest just is so lovely, and it's definitely the most comfortable and satisfying keyboard I've ever used. Definitely recommend it. Lo asks, what is the difference between inciting incident and the first plot point? So the inciting incident is the first thing that pushes your character outside their comfort zone and forces them into the room with their conflict, forces them to confront their desires and their fears and their misbeliefs. And that's like the first push of the plot. So how I like to tell the difference between the inciting incident and the first plot point is that the inciting incident is happening to the character, and the first plot point is the character then making a decision in wake of the inciting incident. So they are making their active choice at that moment and stepping into the unknown, or making a choice of what's next. What are they going to do from here? So you could look at it sort of like an action of the plot and then an action of the character. So the first plot point I also like to think of in terms of the impossible choice, I call it, which is, to me, the best way to see it, because you have this character who is forced to choose a next step forward. They are presented with this inciting incident, which is going to push them outside their comfort zone in some way. and they have to decide, okay, do I stay inside my comfort zone and risk never getting the thing I want, or do I take that step outside the comfort zone, try to avoid my fear as best I can, but ultimately try to get the thing I want? So that's kind of the direction that you're taking with the first plot point. But I have videos breaking down the inciting incident and the first plot point on my channel if you want to dig deeper into that. Definitely recommend those. Okay. I'm going to get into our next sprint now. Just going to grab one more question from Shrishti. Asks, when will the limited edition signed copies of The Otherworld be released? Did I miss it? No, you did not miss it. They are coming soon. I have been working on just some final tweaks to the design of the limited edition covers, but I'm so excited. I just got some supplies today to make them super special for you guys, and I cannot wait to release them. So stay tuned for that. You haven't missed it though. It is coming soon. Okay, let's get into our next sprint. I'm gonna set up our timers again. Okay, let's go. I'm also gonna set up one in the Discord. Which one is there? Boom, sprint number 3 is finished. Great job, guys. Hopefully you had a good sprint. Type in the chat, let me know how it went. I had a good sprint. I was kind of jumping all over the place again, but making progress on all of these chapters. So super excited with how it's turning out. Awesome. Looks like you guys had a great sprint, writing a lot of words. And remember, even if you're not hitting your word count goals or writing as many words as you were hoping to write, it's still all good progress. Showing up for yourself is the most important thing, and you should be so proud of yourself for doing that today here with me. Okay, cool. Awesome. Let's see. Question from Kyrene. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. Hey, Abby, do you have any suggestions on writing plot A to subplot B and how to connect them? Do you have any suggestions writing solid Act 2 without dragging the story down? Okay, so first questions first. As far as connecting a subplot to a main plot, this can be a tricky thing to do. I would recommend checking out my video on subplots. I have a video on subplots on my channel. I also did a whole live training on subplots as well, diving deep into subplots. My favorite way to quickly figure out how I can connect a subplot is by attaching it to a character who is very central in the main character's life. So maybe that is the main character's brother, sister, spouse, or mother, father. Usually a subplot is somehow connected to another character. Even if it is a subplot for the main character, usually it has to do with their relationship with someone else or something else in their world. So figuring out what that relationship is, and then finding moments where throughout your story you can effortlessly weave that into the main character's plot, whether it is in encounters with this other character who is kind of heading the subplot, or maybe it's encounters with something else that this character is trying to pursue. That's maybe a side hobby that they're trying to turn into something more. Whatever the case may be, whatever the subplot may be, look for those opportunities where you can weave that into the story. And I talk way more about that in the live training, so I would definitely recommend checking that out. And as far as writing a solid Act 2 without dragging the story down, again, you want to be focusing on your main character's internal conflict. What is their goal? How are they pursuing their goal now? How have the stakes changed since the beginning of the story? One thing I like to do when I reach sort of the midpoint or Act 2 in my stories is kind of take stock and just write my thoughts in a Word document or a document in my Scrivener. I will just do a quick character motivations check. So basically I list out my main characters and I write a paragraph to myself, just making notes about, okay, where is this character now with their motivations? How has their goal changed or not changed, and why? Where have they gone from here? How has the journey of the story impacted them so far, and what is their new and improved plan going forward? And just doing that check-in helps me so much to really orient myself in where the characters are now and make sure that the middle doesn't turn into the mushy middle. You still want it to feel high stakes and like there is a goal that is still being pursued here. So hopefully that helps. Let's see. Bella asks, hey, Abby, I have a question. What is your best tip on writing an anti-hero's redemption arc? So redemption arcs can be really fun to write because it's kind of a positive character arc and you have the opportunity to weave some really good themes into your character arc through a redemption arc. Redemption arcs I've talked about before with the villain of the story, but also with anti-heroes, it can be really nice to have a redemption arc because anti-heroes are not quite villainous enough to be villains, right? They are too good to be bad, but too bad to be good. And that's what makes them so interesting to write and to read, is because they're so conflicted. So ultimately, it's about choosing the right path. It's about this character being exposed to a better way to live, a better way to see the world. Their beliefs are challenged. And usually their beliefs are challenged in such a way that makes them connect more with their heart and soul. So whatever that means to you, and whatever it means to this character, I would look at what are some places in your story, some pivotal moments where this character can be confronted with the fact that they still do have a heart and soul, and there are things that are really important to them, that matter to them beyond whatever materialistic goals they're trying to pursue. And other characters can help them come to that conclusion as well. Okay, I'm gonna answer one more question, and then we'll get into our last sprint. The writing challenge asks, how do I write my main character when she's confused or doesn't know what to do? I need to know how to write this. So when your main character is confused or presented with multiple options, multiple paths forward, and she doesn't know what to do, this is a great moment of deep conflict, right? Where you can really play on her questions and her fears and doubts. So I would say lean into that. And especially if you're writing in first person, but also if you're writing in third person, you can sort of let your reader see an inside look of her thought process. What is her decision-making process? Is she really just paralyzed with fear and cannot move forward? If so, why? What is she analyzing? What questions is she asking herself? I also like to kind of illustrate this through best and worst case scenarios, or just planning different options in your mind, because we do this all the time, right? Like when we're trying to decide what's the best step forward, we kind of imagine, okay, if I do this, what's the worst that could happen? Then what's the best that could happen? Especially if you have more of a pessimistic character, it can be kind of interesting to play on, okay, what is her worst nightmare scenario that she's so afraid of? But show us that internal analysis and show us how she is really stuck in this place, not able to move forward because of all the doubt and all the fear. That sounds like you have a great setup for a lot of juicy internal conflict. Okay, one more question I'm going to grab real quick because this is a super chat. Thank you so much from Dark Solid X. Hi, Abby. I'm struggling with writing the in-between scenes. It sometimes feels boring and pointless. How can I make it interesting? So this kind of feels like filler where you have the moments in between important plot points where you feel like not much is happening. I totally get that. I've totally seen that a lot. And that's something that I think you can avoid by just bringing in either an extra subplot or some sort of progress emotionally. Make there be emotional progress with either the main character's plot or some sort of subplot. Make it matter. So even if it's filler and it's something that's just an in-between scene, between plot points, how can you make it something that is meaningful to the main characters? It doesn't have to be a big thing. It could be a very small step forward, but it has to be a step forward in order for us to feel like something happened, something changed. We ended that scene or that chapter in a new place than we began it, right? Even if it's just a little bit of emotional progress. So something to think about. Another super chat came in from Mike Davis. Thank you so much for the super chat. Okay, let's get into our final sprint. I've been talking for almost 10 minutes here, guys. Okay, let's set up our timers. Hopefully those answers were helpful to you guys. And we'll start another sprint in the Discord. I keep forgetting to enter any word counts for these. Oh my goodness. It's just like Abby Emmons, 0 on all of them. It's okay. Okay, so join over on Discord if you want. Let's jump into our next sprint. Last sprint of the session. Let's finish strong. I think I need some motivational music. That's it, guys. Wonderful job making it to the end with me. That was our final writing sprint of the session. Tell me how it went. Type in the chat. Let me know how your last sprint went and how your session went as a whole. I got a lot. I made a lot of progress on this book and got to organize some things, rewrite some things, kind of rearrange some things. I'm still figuring out how the first few chapters are going to be laid out, but super excited and super happy with the progress I did make. So I think I ended up writing, like, I'm just gonna put 250 because I don't know how many words I really added to this chapter. I was working with something that I've already written, so I'm kind of just cleaning it up, making it a little bit more concise, and yeah, super excited. As I said before, this is the long-awaited nonfiction book that I'm working on, a book about writing for writers. So you guys are gonna love it. I'm super excited to put more work in on it and share it with you guys one day. It's gonna be awesome. Okay, so it looks like you guys had a wonderful session today. I'm so glad you were able to join me for this writing session. And as you know, we're doing these every single Wednesday. So all month long, we are coming together each Wednesday to write together. So I hope to see you next Wednesday. And if you were able to make it live today, I hope that you will be able to make it next time. I hope to see you there. And until then, you can also check out the Discord community where we do Write With Me, not live streams, but we do writing sprints together all the time in there as a community. So if you love the community aspect of these live streams and love hanging out with other writers, chatting about your stories, sharing your ideas, you would love the Discord. So I invite you to join that. Click the link below this video to join that when you join my Patreon at any level. I hope to see you over there. Okay, guys, that's it for me for today, and I can't wait to see you next week and write with you again. Until then, as always, rock on.